Come mi spiego questa cosa? Beh, c'è un sacco di imbecilli in giro. Non è che c'è bisogno.
Joe D'Amato. Now there's a name I haven't uttered on this show in a while. For those that have only recently boarded this shit show train, my second ever episode for this show was on the film Anthropophagus, the notorious baby-eating, self-gut-munching, video-nasty sleaze masterpiece starring Italian exploitation heavyweight George Eastman and directed by perhaps the sleaziest exploitation filmmaker, Joe D'Amato. More on why later. I feel like it's been far too long since I've done a movie with the Eastman in it, so I figured why not do something of a reunion episode and do Anthropophagus 2. In name only, of course, with a few small connections like Eastman playing the killer again, Joe D'Amato directing, and it's also on the Video Nasties list, so there's that too. This is one of those Italo splatter flicks that has been released under a number of different titles and video covers. It's even one of the fake Fulci zombie sequels. Well, since Eastman isn't playing the fancy word for cannibal again, can he at least be considered a zombie enough for the likes of stuff like killing birds? In Absurd, Eastman plays an experiment gone wrong that escapes from the lab and goes on a killing spree. He has super strength and rapid healing, which, with his denim tuxedo and scruffy look, makes him more of a tall Italian Wolverine than a fucking zombie. Well, I guess his character can't die, but I don't know if that really qualifies him to be a zombie. This is also really more of a Halloween knockoff to the escaped killer plot, a doctor tracking him down, eventual babysitter stalking because we gotta have that too, and even some similar music cues. Eastman's character is even called Mikos, which I guess fucking kinda sounds like Michael? The doctor tracking Mikos is also a priest, and he's played by Edmond Perdam, who the year after went on to be in Juan Piquer Simone's Pieces, which is also a video nasty, which also uses some of the music from Absurd to boot. And here, other than the actor and director connection, this is also why Absurd, or Monster Hunter, can be linked to Anthropophagus as a sequel. Yep, Eastman clutching onto a handful of his own guts. Beauty. But does he bite into them? Nah, brate. Nah. I do feel like this needs some context, though. Just why are Eastman's guts hanging out here? Okay, so the movie opens on Mikos on the run. He tries to action Eastman a gated fence, but ends up fucking himself up. He stumbles his way to the front door of a house where he greets the family with a handful of his own intestines. This family, by the way, is the same one he ends up going back to later on so he can stalk and kill the babysitter and try to kill some little crippled girl. So anyways, after the incident of gut clutching, Mikos is at the hospital, and it's here that we learn of his strange, rapid healing ability, and where the East Beast is unleashed for the duration of the film. This flick does have some tasty gore. The nurse that eats it with a drill is nice and gross, and this poor fuck that meets his end with, I think, a bandsaw, are only a few of the moments in Absurd that make it worthy of standing the Video Nasty stage with the likes of Fulci. There's one scene in particular where Eastman forces a chick head first into an oven. It's pretty fucking brutal stuff, dude. Absurd, by the way, was written by George Eastman, which I wanted to get into because Eastman seems to have an affinity for working on solid rip-off exploitation flicks, like writing the fake Django sequel Kioma, and a really solid rip-off of the David Cronenberg Fly remake Metamorphosis. He also wrote Anthropophagus under the pseudonym of Luigi Montefiore, though I guess technically George Eastman is the pseudonym. Montefiore is his real name, but the dude really is a journeyman of exploitation. acting, writing, directing, even stunt work.
Raul Morales is the strongest.
That one specifically in Michela Soave's Stage Fright. Yeah, man, that's Eastman as the Bloody Bird. Masked scenes only, of course. Speaking of which, Michela Soave is one of Miko's victims. Small world, eh? And what was it I said earlier before I forget about it? Something along the lines of Joe D'Amato being one of the sleaziest Italian exploitation filmmakers. Besides directing a film where the killer takes a bite out of a fetus that he rips out of a woman, he was also notorious for films like Emmanuel and the Erotic Nights of the Living Dead and Porno Holocaust. Yes, pornographic zombie films and pornographic cannibal holocaust. If that doesn't make you feel like there's something slimy creeping up your spine, you may be a bigger degenerate than I am. This stuff alone definitely qualifies the man his spot on the video nasties. And for those not familiar, the video nasties was a term coined in 1982 during a time of moral panic, particularly in the UK, claiming exploitation films were causing violence and murder and warping the minds of children. So 72 films from various notorious exploitation directors were put on a banned list. The best part of all of this is, this just made these films more desirable. It made it fun to seek out films like Zombie and Cannibal Holocaust because it felt like there was this mystique surrounding them. It made it feel kind of dangerous and kind of exciting to seek out the next, Video Nasties film or banned list film. So thanks, Obscene Publications Act. You helped. You helped a fucking lot. Next time you're bored, go take a browse through the Video Nasties list. You've probably seen more of them than you think.